Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I live in Seattle. I am an engineer at Microsoft. In this video, I'm going to share my whole weekly planning routine at my 9-to-5 corporate day job. That allows me to be more productive, efficient, gets me promoted faster, and just makes my overall job more enjoyable. And I think I've developed quite the system. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Today is Friday, and on Friday, I like to do all my planning for the next week. I'm going to walk you all through my Friday planning routine live and show you my template that I have set up for my weekly planning. I use two main tools to plan and project manage my work. One, I use my Outlook calendar, and two, I use OneNote. And I created a template in OneNote that can be easily replicated in all different kinds of applications like Notion if OneNote is not the platform that you use. I'll get a little bit more in detail in my OneNote planner, but for now, let's jump into the planning process. At the start of each day, I pull up my Outlook calendar, and this is where I take a look at all the meetings I have for the week and time block sections off of my calendar for focus time. I find that it's really important to take time to look at my calendar so I can figure out, one, how many quality focus hours I'm going to have in the coming week to get my tasks done, and two, what meetings do I have coming up, because that's usually when my deliverables are due. So what do I have to report out on, and how can I be prepared for those meetings? So first thing I do is pull up my work calendar. Unfortunately, I can't show you my actual work calendar due to work confidentiality regulations and rules, but I've created a mock calendar in Google Calendar that looks a lot like my work calendar. On my calendar, I have things color-coded. The gray blocks are just time blocks that I block off for myself. The green blocks are internal meetings that I have. The orange blocks are external meetings, so meetings I have with like our suppliers or external vendors. And then I also use purple for blocking off focus work sessions. What I'll start off with is start planning off Monday. And I block off 1 hour sessions for focus time. I take the first 10 minutes of the hour off, and then I work for the next 50 minutes, which is the Pomodoro technique. If you're not familiar with it, is essentially just a pattern of taking a short break and then focusing for a certain amount of time. Usually repeat the cycle 3 times and then take a bigger break. On Monday, I have 9 to 9:30 planning session planned. At the start of each day of the week, I have a 30-minute planning section blocked off. This is the time I use to get myself organized for the day. And I'm also gonna add a 9:30 to 10:30 working session. And I am going to categorize this as purple. So I'll take a 10-minute break between planning and starting this working session, but then I'll actually work from 9:40 to 10:30. Similarly, I'm gonna plan a 10:30 to 11:30 working session and make this purple. And sometimes I have an awkward 30 minutes and I'll fill that with another working session where I'll take a 10-minute break and work for 20 minutes. For a small session like this, I'll probably just do something like check my email. Later in the day, I have a time slot from 2 to 3 to plop down another working session. I try to limit myself to 3 working sessions per day. I usually have a little less meetings on Monday than I do the rest of the week. Like as you can see, on Tuesday, it's gonna be very hard to fit in working sessions, so I add a few more to Monday. So I'm gonna add 1 more here for a total of like 4.5 hours of focus time. And that is abnormally high. I will not get 4.5 hours of quality focus time to do my actual work on any other day. On Fridays, I dedicate it for different kinds of tasks like career planning and workload planning. It's not the same kind of work as I get done on a Monday. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna fill out working sessions that I have available for the rest of this week. Okay, now I finished blocking off all the working sessions for the week. I really love this exercise because it really helps me visualize exactly how much time I'll have to get work done. Without doing this activity, I overestimate how much time I have. So on Monday, I might leave tasks off to Tuesday, but when I look at Tuesday, I really only have 2 half-an-hour working sessions, which is probably only enough time to check my email. So on Tuesday, I won't be able to get any tasks done. Similarly, with Wednesday, I only have 1 half-an-hour working session. You'll probably see in my calendar that on Tuesday, I do have some more open time that I did not fill with working sessions, and also with Wednesday. And I left these open on purpose for big breaks because taking meetings, especially in our virtual remote environment, is very energy draining for me. So I like to keep my calendar a little bit more open on those days. And that just comes from me knowing myself and what my body and brain needs. tasks. On Friday, I like to end work at 3 p.m. and that's a huge privilege that I'm able to do that. And I think having such an organized, structured system has empowered me to be able to do things like that. Another important tip, underestimate how much work you can get done in a day. At least for me, I have so many meetings and not as much quality focus time as I think I have. And that has helped me immensely with my productivity because I no longer start work feeling really overwhelmed and paralyzed. So now that I have all my meetings planned, I am going to open my OneNote and transfer some of this information over. How I structure my OneNote is I make a new notebook for every year. So we're in 2022, I'm currently using my 2022 planner notebook. And then from there, there's different sections or tabs at the top. I have a weekly tab, that's where I do all my task planning and organizing. I mostly work out of the weekly planning tab, and on the side you can see all these different pages. I create a new page for every week. And I have it set so that when I go to add page to start a new week, it automatically opens my weekly planning template. I'm going to change the weekly template title to the dates for next week. Next week is 11/7/2022 to 11/11/2022. Now we have the weekly layout set up. We're going to start with Monday. The first thing I'll do before I get into assigning tasks into each week is to transfer all the time that I have assigned to focus sessions and meetings into the meetings and working sessions of my OneNote planner. So I'm going to split screen this. And I know this sounds crazy, but stay with me and I'll show you what the benefits are. So 9 to 9:30 planning session. I have 9:30 to 10:30 working session. I have a 10:30 to 11:30 working session and 11:30 to 12:30 working session. I also have a 1 to 2 p.m. internal meeting, 2 to 3 p.m. working session, 3 to 4 p.m. external meeting, and 4 to 5 p.m. working session. I'll be right back. I'm going to do this for all the other days. Now I have plopped on all the working sessions and meetings I have assigned into the meetings and working sessions section of each day in my weekly template. Next, I'm going to make a list of all the tasks I have on my plate. And I'll do that in this table right here. Usually I copy paste the table from week to week because I have a running list of tasks on my plate, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm not going to use actual projects I have because that is also confidential information, but I'm going to use some projects I'm working on for YouTube. So for example, if one of my projects at work is make OneNote tutorial video, and maybe item number 1 is, and I'm going to use this to-do tag, plan video outline, export template file, film video. Let's say another task I have is file taxes. So I'm going to use a to-do tag again, collect proof of payments from sponsors, like expense receipts, upload files to tax board. And then on the third column here, I have a priority column, and I rank the priority of my tasks from 1 to 3. 1 being absolutely urgent, do it as soon as you can. So let's say the OneNote video is due very soon and I need to get that up. I'll assign that priority 1. And let's say file taxes needs to be done by the end of the week, but it doesn't need to be done immediately. I will make that priority 2. I'm going to insert another task here. Let's say this last task is coordinate sponsorship with Notion. Manifesting. And let's say this is something that is on my to-do list, but it's not due at the end of this week. It can wait until next week. I will give it a priority ranking of 3. Unfortunately, I did this in order, but what you can do is right-click at the top of your table and go to the table menu and sort ascending or descending. So if I sort descending, it'll put my lowest priority items first, but usually what I do is I sort by ascending so I can see what my top priority tasks are. So then what I will do is taking a look at priority number 1, I will move all the priority 1 tasks into open working sessions that I have. So for example here, I see that 9:30 to 10:30 working session is open on Monday, and I'm gonna assign the task plan video outline. Usually I have a general idea of how long tasks will take, and I would estimate that planning a video outline would take at least an hour. So I'm gonna keep that there. Then for 10:30 to 11:30, I am going to schedule the export template file, and I don't think that will take that long, so I can also add film video here. And I'm assuming filming video is going to take longer than an hour, so I'm going to also plop down the film video task into the next working session. Now that I've assigned all these tasks into working sessions, I am going to use the check mark tag and mark it as scheduled. So now I've scheduled all my priority 1 tasks. I'm going to start moving to priority 2 tasks. For the last working session of the day, I usually don't like to assign a task because I usually have to catch up on things from the meetings from that day. I'll collect new action items or I'll get more emails to respond to. So now I can mark this priority 2 task as scheduled. Once I hit the priority 3 task range, that's when I start plopping down tasks according to what I'm focusing on for the day. Or let's say I have multiple priority 1 tasks and I'm trying to decide whether to put them on Monday or Tuesday, I will align them based on what I'm focusing on for that day, which is shown in the header here. As a bonus tip, I also generally assign or plan my tasks according to my menstrual cycle. The working corporate world is very much designed towards the male 24-hour hormonal cycle. Whereas for women or menstruating humans, we have a 28-day or so hormonal cycle. And what this means is that for the first 2 weeks of my cycle, so the first week after my period and then the following week, I am very high energy. I have lots of new ideas. This is a time I work on more creative projects or there were projects that need high-level critical thinking and creative thinking. Whereas the last 2 weeks, which is the week before my period and the week of my period, I would try to cater my tasks to tasks that are more mundane, more straightforward. They still might be long and hard tasks, but they don't require as much creativity and it's more about just getting the work done. There's a few other sections in my OneNote template that I want to call out. For the nature of my work, which is manufacturing engineering, there are a lot of issues that pop up at the factories that I have to monitor on a daily basis, or issues that pop up and will be ongoing for months on end that I need to check in on a weekly basis. What I have here is a table of tasks that I need to monitor. And there's 2 sections to this. One, short term. So these are things that I need to monitor within the week. So I need to check in on an almost daily basis. Let's say I have bug number 6567, and I will usually provide the link to this issue, which is documented in our internal database. That way I can quickly access it, minimizing the amount of work is required to get to this issue since I have to go check on it so often. There also might be long-term issues. There are also problems that popped up at the factory and that I need to check on occasionally, but they're going to take a little while to fix. It's going to take a couple of months, a couple of weeks, and I don't need to check on it every day, maybe once a week, once every other week. And then my final section here is my quick links section. I don't know about you all, but in my corporate job, I have to keep track of so many different links to so many different websites and repositories, and a bookmarking system just isn't doing it for me. So here I will organize it by project. Let's use the OneNote tutorial video project. Maybe there are a couple of links that I have to keep track of. I will document the links here as well so that I have easy access to all the pages and websites that I need to go to in order to get my work done. And I will hyperlink all of these to keep it clean and simple. We're gonna assume it is Monday now. After a nice long weekend, it is Monday again and I'm pulling into work. Having this whole system has made me feel so much less stressed on Sunday. I rarely get the Sunday scaries anymore. I know that on Friday, I plan exactly what I have to do on Monday and there aren't any surprises for the most part. So logging onto Monday, I start off my work usually at 9 a.m. and the first 30 minutes I have allocated to planning and organizing for the day. On Mondays, I don't usually end up using this full 30 minutes because not many emails are sent over the weekend and I don't usually have new tasks popping up. But what I will start with is reviewing what I have planned for Monday when I did my planning on Friday. So I can see here that I've assigned tasks to each working session. For me, documenting, typing things out, writing them down is my way of processing information. So I will revisit what I have assigned for the day and rewrite them in my priority 1 tasks for the day. And that just helps me really absorb what I wrote on Friday again and also keep me focused on what my top priorities are today. So my top priorities are plan video outline for Notion video. I have export template file, film video. That is 3 tasks in itself, and I try to keep my priority 1 tasks to just 3 tasks, minus the checking the email task that's automatically populated there. This reminds me that this is my top priority today. And if things get pushed back, if I get a surprise meeting plopped on my calendar, this is what I go back to, the Notion video, getting that done. In the case that I am unable to get work done for later working sessions that I have previously assigned myself, I will collect those tasks and move it forward to the next day. And because I'll have the next day planned already, I'll know exactly what I have room for and don't have room for. So I can tell my manager, hey, because this new issue popped up and is taking up my bandwidth, I will no longer be able to complete tasks A, B, and C, and I need help with them. I need someone to help me out. So now that I have Monday planned, I usually like to start my day off doing a task that is not email. It gets me more in the momentum and more in the groove. Email kind of bogs me down. But on a Monday, the planning doesn't usually take the full 30 minutes, so I'll dig a little bit into my email inbox before the end of my 30-minute planning session. Something else I want to show you is I have an email notes section to my daily template. And this is because when I read my email, it has so much information and I pull new tasks for my email. I need this section to keep track of what email I checked and what tasks I've collected from my email. So I'll take notes on, let's say, Notion said yes to sponsorship. And this means that they need links to my channel and other websites. The second bullet point here is a task, so I will tag that with a checkbox. Throughout the day, in my meetings, in conversations, I will definitely need to take notes on those items, so that is what this other notes section is. And if it's a task, again, I will tag it with the checkbox tag. The next section, I have a question section. So any questions that come up that I want to ask, I will plop them here. And because I'm still early in my career, it's really important for me to document any questions I have and make sure that I get them answered. And then finally, in the last section, this summary section is for me to document any highlights I had, any accomplishments, any kudos that I want to give out to team members. When I do this on a daily basis, it makes my performance reviews really, really easy because I can just go back to each week and see what I documented as my accomplishments each day. I try to document at least one accomplishment each day. And I also document my highlights. This tells me what I really liked working on. And I'll also write down what I didn't like working on. And this has immensely helped me figure out which direction I want to go with my career. Now I know this sounds like a lot of work. I take probably about an hour on Friday to do the week of planning, and then anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes a day to update the planning that I have done. It's important to recognize that planning is a lot of work. There are entire jobs around planning, from project management jobs to wedding planners, vacation planners. To be really successful at staying organized at work, you have to recognize planning as a valuable task. I can only speak for myself. After having developed this new organization system, I saw massive improvements in my career. I got promoted twice in the span of a year. I don't feel so overwhelmed at work. Planning is such an important tool to help you be efficient, intentional, and ultimately empowers you to make sure you're doing work that is meaningful to you, that you're reaching your goals, getting promoted when you want to, and also have the information at your fingertips to ask for help when you need to. I recognize that everyone's job is slightly different. This works well for my engineering job, but if you're taking away any learnings, feel free to adapt the process to what fits for your work the best. I hope this video was helpful. Again, the OneNote template that I use will be linked in the description box below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!